Hey everyone, happy 10-year anniversary. When thinking back on the last 8.5 years that I've been with Lumicera, my memories really consistently revolve around our people. So I know others have mentioned this memory before, but it really does continue to come up for me. The cooler deliveries at our old building before we had a loading dock, it was really just a really good way to show our teamwork and how everybody is willing to pitch in no matter what their role is. There was always WebEx messages over to the Navitus team, and all of the Navitus members would come down and help us. And it was just a lot of fun and felt like a team building activity. Along with that, I would say just looking at our size and scale and thinking about how much we've grown over the last 10 years. I remember when we would want to go and do a team building activity and we would leave an hour before the phones turned off, and we'd have a couple of very graciously willing residents come and cover our phones for the last hour. And to think about our volume now and the complexity of our phone lines and the different businesses, it's crazy to think that we had like 2 to 3 residents covering all of those calls for even an hour. So I like to think back at that when I'm thinking about how much we've grown and how awesome that really is. I'd really be remiss if I didn't also mention the positive feedback that we received from our patients. I feel like that really supports our my feeling of working with the best team, really, of caring individuals. Frequently, we receive feedback from not only our patients, but also providers and our manufacturer partners. And the feedback is not just about 1 or 2 individuals. Typically, it's like everyone I talk to at Lumicera is so caring, so helpful. And I really think that that speaks volumes about our team and how amazing our individuals are here at Lumicera.
So as a Navitus employee, I worked at Navitus in the original project management office, the PMO, and I was helped out on the project that created Lumicera. So, and I say it that way because it wasn't Project Lumicera, because Lumicera's name hadn't been figured out yet when we were starting the project, right? So it was just a specialty pharmacy project was the name of the project. So Heidi Nowak was actually the lead PM on it, but there were like 20 sub-projects to do this, a lot of stuff, right? And I took on 2 of those, right? I led the software implementation, which was a big one, and then there was a finance project as well, because we had to figure out things like how was FIFO pricing going to work and all those kinds of things. So, but yeah, there was other projects. There was, a marketing project, HR project, because we had to hire people, right? Things like that. There were a total of 20 sub projects. So I remember that. Some of the things I remember about that, though, is there a lot of decision making because, we were starting a brand new company, basically. So I can remember sitting many times in the old Palmer room at the original, or not the original, the Navitus office when it was in the Arbor Gate facility on the Beltline in Madison, right? We'd sit in the Palmer room up on the 6th floor. And we talk about how we're going to make these things work, especially the whole pass-through pricing model, because that was something that didn't exist, right? We had to figure that out, and they had to customize the code for us to do this tracking of every script and every dispense of a script to which specific purchase order it came from, right? That was we needed to build that functionality so that it could be audited if ever needed to prove that we were passing through the price as we were supposed to. And when I say we, the coding at that time was actually still the vendor. We didn't own the code yet, right? This was a vendor supplied code that we later purchased, which was another thing on our path, in our 10-year path, is we did purchase that code now and have our own IT department that supports that. I mean, then a lot over 10 years, right? So I only became a Lumicera employee officially like 5 years ago. It was sometime, well, maybe almost 6 now. I think it was in 2018. Right, but I still worked on Lumicera stuff even as a Navitus employee. We did things like build the Lumicera data warehouse. Right, I was the PM on that project, and that happened in the earlier years of Lumicera. That's to a lot of people, probably kind of a behind the scenes thing, but it does get used for all our client extracts, all our manufacturer extracts, where we're pulling data and having to send reports of claim information and things like that. That stuff all comes out of the data warehouse, or parts of it anyway. And analytics also will pull some of their information from the data warehouse as well. But kind of a behind the scenes thing. But that was a big project as well. That it took like a couple years to build that data warehouse. I mean, I always say that this was, I think, the most interesting project I ever worked on. It was the creating Lumicera, that project, because we literally started a company from scratch, right? So that really was pretty interesting, exciting project to be a part of. And it continues to be exciting to be at Lumicera with everything going on. Still, the growth and stuff that we're going through is just awesome to be a part of.